The Marwick loomed over Ashwood Lane, a sentinel of stone and secrets. Built in the 1800s, its facade was a tapestry of crumbling brick and faded grandeur. Gargoyles perched on its roofline, their shadows like claws across the overgrown lawn. The windows, dark and vacant, stared out like the eyes of a watchful spectre. The Marwick was a place whispered about, a place where shadows lingered long after the sun had set. The building held its secrets close. Behind its ornate facade, a darkness festered. Stories whispered of tragic deaths, unexplained occurrences, and a haunting presence that clung to its halls. Few dared to speak of it openly, but the stories persisted, passed down like heirlooms, tarnishing the building's reputation with each retelling. The Marwick stood as a testament to forgotten tragedies, a monument to the darkness that whispered within its walls. Emily, a young writer seeking solitude, found herself drawn to the Marwick. Its isolation appealed to her, the silence a blank canvas for her words.
The building has character, you know. It will inspire your writing. Those stories, just foolish superstitions.
The landlord, a gaunt man with unsettlingly intense eyes, seemed unusually eager to have her as a tenant. He spoke of the building's character with a fervour that bordered on unsettling. He assured her that the solitude would inspire her writing. He dismissed the stories, calling them foolish superstitions. But Emily noticed a flicker of something else in his eyes, something knowing, something guarded. Emily moved into the top-floor apartment. It was spacious, with high ceilings and large windows that overlooked the street below. The air was thick with the scent of dust and time. The silence, once promising, now felt heavy, expectant. She unpacked her belongings, each item a small piece of her life placed into this unfamiliar space. Still, she felt a growing unease, a sense that she was not alone. The whispers started subtly, faint murmurs that Emily initially dismissed as old plumbing or the creaking of a building settling after years of standing. They always seemed to come at night, soft, indistinct voices that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. Sometimes she thought she heard her name carried on the edge of a sigh.
Is someone there?
But when she pressed her ear to the wall, there was nothing. Just the unsettling silence of the building holding its breath. The whispers grew bolder, more frequent, more insistent. They seemed to follow her from room to room, a chorus of disembodied voices swirling around her. Emily tried to ignore them, to focus on her work, but the whispers were relentless, chipping away at her concentration, her sanity. She began to feel a constant sense of unease, a feeling of being watched, of being judged by unseen eyes. Fear, cold and insidious, began to seep into her bones. Determined to uncover the source of the unsettling noises, Emily began to explore the building. She knocked on her neighbours' doors, but each apartment seemed strangely empty. No sounds of life, no evidence of other tenants.
Why is no one here? Where is everyone?
When she questioned the landlord, he just offered vague explanations and a dismissive shrug.
Oh, people come and go, nothing unusual.
His denials only fueled her suspicions. There was something he wasn't telling her, something he was hiding. Driven by a mixture of fear and morbid curiosity, Emily began spending her nights exploring the Marwick's shadowy corridors. The building seemed to twist and turn back on itself, revealing hidden alcoves and staircases that led to nowhere. She found old journals tucked away in a dusty corner, filled with frantic, rambling entries that hinted at a dark history. The words spoke of whispers, of shadows, of a malevolent presence that haunted the building. Section 5. A hidden room, a troubling past. Behind a bookshelf in her own apartment, Emily discovered a hidden room. The air inside was stale and cold. Dust-covered furniture sat like ghostly sentinels. A single cobwebbed window cast a sliver of moonlight across the floor, illuminating a name etched into the wall. Margaret.
Margaret?
The name sent a chill down Emily's spine. It was the same name she had seen repeatedly in the old journals, the same name she whispered in her sleep. As Emily explored the room, she found a loose floorboard. Beneath it, a metal box. Inside, a collection of letters, yellowed with age, tied together with a faded ribbon. The letters told a tragic tale. Margaret, a young woman who had lived in the building a century before, had been driven to madness by the whispers, the same whispers that now tormented Emily. Driven to despair, Margaret had taken her own life within the very walls that now held Emily captive. Section 6. The Walls Close In. The line between reality and nightmare blurred for Emily. The whispers grew louder, more menacing. They taunted her with fragments of Margaret's story, their voices a chilling echo of the dead woman's torment.
Margaret! Margaret!
Emily's sleep offered no escape, haunted by vivid nightmares of Margaret's final moments. She would wake in a cold sweat, the whispers still ringing in her ears, the name Margaret echoing in the darkness.
No, please, stop.
The Marwick seemed to press in on her, suffocating her. Shadows danced at the edge of her vision. Footsteps echoed in the empty hallways. She felt a constant presence beside her, a cold breath on her neck. The building itself seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, feeding off her terror, amplifying it until it consumed her every thought.
Driven to the edge of sanity, I became a recluse in my own apartment. My writing, once a source of solace, became frantic, disjointed. The pages filled with my growing paranoia, my desperate attempts to make sense of the whispers, to unravel the mystery of Margaret's fate. But the more I learned, the more I realized the futility of my search. There were no answers to be found within these walls, only echoes of suffering.
Emily stopped answering calls from worried friends. She no longer ventured out for groceries, her refrigerator bare except for half-empty bottles of water. Her once organized apartment became a chaotic reflection of her fractured mind. Clothes lay scattered on the floor, dishes piled up in the sink. The air grew thick with the scent of unwashed laundry and despair. Emily was trapped, consumed by the darkness that had claimed Margaret so many years before. One stormy night, Emily's screams echoed through the empty hallways of the Marwick. Her cries were a cacophony of terror and desperation, a final, desperate plea for help that went unanswered. Neighbours, accustomed to the strange noises emanating from the building, dismissed it as just another night in the Marwick. They had learned to ignore the sounds, to turn a blind eye to the darkness that resided within their walls.
The next morning, Emily was gone. Her apartment door stood ajar, the lock broken. Her belongings remained untouched, as if frozen in time. The only sign of her struggle was a single high-heeled shoe lying on its side near the overturned coffee table. We searched, but found no trace of her.
The landlord, when questioned, feigned ignorance, his eyes cold and calculating. The whispers, it seemed, had claimed another soul. The Marwick stood silent once more. The whispers had receded, their hunger seemingly satiated. The building exuded an air of quiet menace, like a predator that had recently fed. The tenants who remained spoke of Emily in hushed tones, their voices tinged with a mixture of fear and morbid fascination. They avoided her old apartment, their eyes darting nervously towards its door as they passed. But the silence was a facade, a brief respite before the cycle began anew. The darkness that had consumed Margaret and Emily lingered, a malevolent presence lying in wait for its next victim. The whispers remained, dormant but not extinguished, their voices a constant, chilling reminder of the secrets buried within the Marwick's walls. The Marwick still stands on Ashwood Lane, a testament to the darkness that festers in forgotten corners. It remains a place of whispers, of shadows, of secrets that refuse to stay buried. New tenants, lured by its affordability or its strange allure, move in, their hopes high, their dreams untarnished. They remain oblivious to the building's history, deaf to the whispers that cling to the air like dust. But the silence is never truly silent. The whispers are always there, waiting for a crack in their defenses, a moment of weakness to exploit. They weave their way into dreams, into thoughts, planting seeds of fear and paranoia. The Marwick endures, a monument to the darkness that resides within us all. A chilling reminder that some secrets are best left undisturbed, and some places are better left uninhabited.